We now take you to the Russell Rotunda on the Senate side of the Capitol on a very foggy morning on Capitol Hill. John Boozman joins us this morning, senator from Arkansas, of course, a Budget Committee member. We've been talking to members of the Budget Committee all morning. Senator, what are your priorities? You heard from some viewers just now on their priorities when it comes to budgeting and spending. What are your priorities heading into a potential deal before this shutdown in 10 days?
Well, certainly we need to get a deal done. Nobody wants to shut down the government. It's sad that we're in a situation now where in several months, the government budget started in October. Here we are several months into it, and our agencies simply don't know what kind of funding that they've got. So my priority is to get it done, to strike a deal, but then also the priority for the next year, and I think this is one of the things that Republicans and Democrats agree on. We simply have to fix the budget process so we don't get ourselves in this situation every year.
What's wrong with the process right now? Why are we getting ourselves into this situation again and again?
Well, a lot of it's structural. We're talking about spending many trillions of dollars, getting the apparatus together to get that done, to do the oversight and things like that, getting floor time on the Senate and the House. So those are some factors, but also right now it's just difficult. We've got to get a mechanism that we can get the bills on the floors, get them voted on, and that way we have a situation where everybody can participate. Sadly, right now basically a few members are going to sit down and iron out the final budget agreement, which involves over $1 trillion.
Who's getting in the way of those fixes? Why can't those fixes happen? Who is benefiting right now from the process as it is?
Well, I don't think anybody's benefiting. It's just a situation where the structure's broken down. So we need to look at the cause, but I know that for the last several years, we have simply not been able to put the various individual spending things on the floor. For instance, VA Milcon would be one. So we put it on the floor of the House and the Senate. We vote just on that on a very much smaller amount of money than what we're talking about doing now. Get that done, go on to defense, go on to Health and Human Services, chop it up, let people participate, let them amend the bills in a free and open way in the House and the Senate, then you get a good product. What we're doing now is being in a situation where here we are 3 months into the process, and our agencies are having to spend the same amount of money that they did last year in the same way. That makes no sense at all.
I know you're on the budgeting side, but on the appropriation side, there were some appropriation bills that were historically bipartisan. I'm thinking military spending. When did that start to change, and what happened to make it less bipartisan than it used to be?
Well, I think it started really probably about 10 years ago. It's been a long time since we've been able to get these bills on the floor. I think it's just a matter of different priorities. The country's very split. Some things Democrats and Republicans have been able to do a good job of getting done, things like infrastructure in the past, getting highway bills done, the big water resources bill done. We passed a big chemical bill. Those things aren't glamorous, but they're the backbone of the country, of our infrastructure. When it comes to budgeting, when it comes to spending money in different areas, that's an area where we're very, very divided. Some people feel like we need to increase defense. Others feel like we need to spend more money on discretionary spending. The reality is there's just not a whole lot of money to go around right now with $20 trillion $20 trillion debt and many hundreds of billions of dollars of deficit every year. It makes it very, very difficult.
And one thing that the country is very split on right now is the immigration issue. Do you think an immigration deal comes together here as part of the spending agreement that's being worked on?
Well, I think that's the path that we're going down, and so that's going to be difficult to do. I'm a guy that feels like we need to secure the border, and the reason that we need to do that is that regardless of the deal that we put in place, if you don't have border security, we'll be back in the same position that we are in the next 5 to 10 years. So we have to secure the border, not only because of illegal immigration. We're a nation at war. We need to know who's coming across. Also, there's a huge drug war on the other side of the border, spilling into the United States. So again, there's lots of reasons to secure the border. So far, we're having lots of pushbacks by our colleagues on the Democrat side that simply don't want to do that.
Senator, before you go, I know you, like all your colleagues on Capitol Hill, are closely watching the Muller investigation. It's once again on the front pages of the Washington Post. The headline, Director Mueller, Special Counsel Mueller, looking to seek an interview with President Trump, trying to find time to sit down and interview him about his investigation. Do you think that would be a good idea for the president to sit down with the special counsel?
Well, I think the president needs to talk to his lawyers. He needs to look at precedent as far as presidents, how they've reacted in the past in that way, and then follow that accordingly.
Senator John Boozman is a Republican from Arkansas. Appreciate your time this morning, sir.
Thank you so much, as always, for having me.